everybody. It is Jackie Potter and Abel Ramos with Compass, and today we want to speak to buyers directly. I mean, come August, you guys are going to have to be interviewing and taking responsibility for the commissions owed to your agent. And I think now more than ever, it's really important to interview these people. You know, you should
Definitely
be comparing multiple people, and you should be asking specific questions to get to the bottom of how they're going to help you and your specific needs. And you know what? Abel has probably sat down with hundreds to close to probably thousands. I mean,
I don't know, maybe it feels that way,
of buyers and in buyer consultations, and he's worked with plenty of varieties of agents. I mean, what do you think are some of the best questions that a buyer could ask when it comes to understanding an agent's experience, the way they communicate, and generally like how that transaction is going to go down?
For sure. I think first and foremost, long gone are the cousin Julie days where, your cousin just got he or she, Julie or John, just, there you go. Whoever it is, right? You can't just single out cousin Julie. Long gone are those days where you're just going to trust your family member who just got their license to represent you if you're having to sign a buyer broker agreement stating that you're paying the compensation. That's how I feel. I feel like it's a good thing for the industry, and it's going to make the best agents rise to the top, right?
Yeah.
Or go further the top, they should,
so many people do a bad job and take advantage of their family and friends.
No doubt. And it's not that they're trying to necessarily take advantage, but it's purely out of ignorance. They don't know. They've never done the business. They're just looking to get paid because they have a license. And I think those days are long gone, because in our market, if you're going to pay me $100,000, for example, I'm sure some tough questions are going to come my way. So when I think of those questions, or what questions would be relevant to any sort of buyer, first and foremost for me is, are you a full-time realtor or a part-time realtor? I think that is something that is fair to ask, and you need to get out in front of it, because you and I know the difference.
Yeah.
Right?
In the information that the person knows, in the data, in knowing the neighborhoods, in the conversations that happen agent to agent and in the office meeting. But also, if that's a part-time agent, then they're part-time communicating with you. Then they're part-time available for you. Then they're
even part-time in their dedication to this industry. Yeah. So if they're only part-time dedicating themselves to this industry, what kind of representation are you getting when it comes to paying a commission? Going into this next, the next question I would say is, like you said, the first question is, are you full-time or part-time, right? The next question for me is, do you have any sort of past sales or transactions or customer testimonials that you can show me from a buyer?
Tell me about your last transaction.
For sure,
when
that's
it
another,
was.
Yeah.
Like, when was your last transaction? 3 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Just because you're telling me you did one.
Or maybe you haven't done one yet.
Yeah, and tell me how it went. Every single transaction is different, and it's important to hear how they talk about understanding that client's needs, how they helped them, what went down in the transaction.
Did you get a testimonial from the client in that transaction?
That being said, it is hard to get people to write reviews, even though they'll text you. And I got a crazy text this weekend from somebody who was like, thanks for everything in the past, blah, 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 blah. And in my head, I'm like, love that text message. Write me a review.
But I would even say, as a realtor now, you better step your game up and screenshot that message and have it there readily available to show people, in your portfolio when you're doing the buyer consult. So show me the proof, right? Why are you a good agent? You could tell me that you do a great job, or I feel like you're going to do a great job, but just show me a little bit more. So I go back to show or tell me about your last transactions.
Yep.
Do you have a testimonial or other testimonials you can show me from other buyers that have said you've done a great job?
Yep.
I'm going to say something here, though, because you and I do these market updates and we talk about data all the time. It's like, does your buyer agent know or understand the market data? I don't know what the exact question is. Maybe it's
pick the neighborhood or pick your price range.
Tell me more about the competition in this price point of 1.5 to 2 million, and what type of offers are you seeing being accepted? Are they going over the asking price? Do you know the percentage of properties going over the asking price? How many are going off market? Come prepared with a little bit more information. In fact, we'll come up with a list of questions and share it with you guys that you can just download after watching this
video. Take that paper in and go interview people, and then come interview us.
Right.
And you'll see.
Right. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about as the questions I'm going to get, just from an experience standpoint. But it's not just always experience, though. What else do you feel is important?
I mean, communication to me is huge. I think so many transactions can go right, except that it leaves somebody feeling not well taken care of strictly because of communication. So I would ask, one, if it's somebody that has a team, who am I really working with? If I'm paying you the commission and signing up to work with you,
am I getting you?
And right. If not, what's the qualifications of the people on your team? Like, we work really great as partners.
Can I meet them? Why aren't they here in the room?
Exactly. Yeah. Our clients have access to both of us at all times, and that's really beneficial. So I think you need to know upfront who you're communicating with, and then they better, be able to communicate updates with you in a consistent way, so you're not waking up day to day thinking like, am I going to hear from my realtor? What are they doing for me? I do so much work behind the scenes, and I let my clients know, like, I will give you an email update with links and all of this kind of update information weekly, and I'll tell you as things come up with conversations with other realtors about the listings you're interested in. Like, they know that they're going to be talked to and communicated with, and when to look for that big long update.
People appreciate when you protect their time. Yeah. And I think this protects our time as I've gotten more seasoned, right? Because I'm not just throwing you in my car and showing you any property. It's really understanding what type of property they're looking for.
Yeah.
Through communication, better questions and things, right? And then, since we do this full time, touring the property.
Yeah.
Putting together property tours.
Huge.
Of when we know that property is going to be something that's perfect for this buyer, and saving them a tremendous amount of time from seeing a property that they don't like.
Yeah, our market is mostly second homes, and if you're going to be coming up from LA or the Bay or flying in, you want to have agents that are not going to just be wasting your time showing you things that don't work. And so, like, for us, we have a system behind the videos, the virtual tours and things like that to keep you really informed, to keep things efficient, and ultimately make the experience positive so you don't feel like you're just being wasted.
Yeah, and communicating with all the tools that we have available in a technology-driven industry, world and platform that we have here at Compass. It's like, we want to make sure we're saving you the time. So I would ask a question along those lines of like, well, how are you going to be working for me when I'm actually not here, if I'm a buyer from out of the area?
Yeah.
How are you doing that? Because I want to know, what opportunities are you exhausting to find me that house?
Yep.
Right? How hard are you going to be working? Are you just going to set me on an MLS strip and send listings to my inbox? I can do that on Zillow via the app by myself.
Right.
Right? So that would be a question that I would ask. Mm-hmm. How well do you know
the grid,
the purchase agreement from the buyer standpoint? Can you tell me more about the buyer transaction and what takes place? What are the contingencies that I have in place? Hey, if I make an offer on this house, am I locked into this deal? How well are they explaining this to you, which falls back on communication? If they can't simplify this process for you and how it works, maybe you're not going to have a good experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of going back into, that transactional experience.
Yeah.
I would want to know, like, again, once the offer is accepted, how do you help me get through the deal?
Yeah.
Like, that would be another question. 100%. Because for me and you together, obviously, when I say me, it's both of us, right? Like us together.
For us,
we have processes and systems in place, or checklists and things that we can show and provide to the client to say, well, hey, this is what the process looks like. This is how we actually protect you in this area of the deal, and here's where we have another opportunity to negotiate.
A timeline.
Whatever, right?
We literally lay out a timeline, so not just your at close of escrow day and your contingency periods, but when we're getting the inspectors over there, when we're getting the inspections back, when we're going to be making the negotiations after we've seen those inspections. Everything, and you feel informed, but also we're always there for questions.
Yeah.
It's not like we're trying to avoid the communication. It's trying to be upfront so that if you do wake up at 5 a.m., you just check your phone and you're good.
Next two things I think I would say about this, just to kind of sum this up when it comes to like moving forward in this interview about the transaction, is what type of team do they have in place to carry you through the transaction? Because there is a team there that is needed.
Yeah.
Inspectors, home warranty people,
transaction
coordinators, assistants that work for them on the team. If you have a loan,
it's your loan lender, team to make sure we're all communicating.
Appraiser, like there's so many people involved in a real estate deal, and that's what makes it so complex because there's so many areas where a deal can fall apart.
From timing and scheduling to big things coming up on an inspection you weren't prepared for, and all of that kind of stuff. So, and in a market like ours where we're moving quick, our days on market is short, you better make sure that your agents have the right team that can actually make these appointments, get the inspections done, have a good return time, and be trustworthy.
That too, right? Yeah, for sure. Mainly, I mean, for me, obviously outside, like trustworthy is just one of those things that we just assume is happening there.
Well, if an agent doesn't actually use these vendors, they're just scrolling Google, sending you, hey, these are some people locally.
That's yeah, for sure.
They're just trying to find somebody
why we would ask to learn more about their team of vendors or people in place. But
I like sharing old inspections with people so they even see this is what our inspections look like. It's line itemed, it's red, there's pictures, like you are super informed. Hire whoever you want, but the reason we give you these recommended inspectors is because we understand how well informed and thorough they are.
Yeah, exactly, right. So
maybe ask, do you have an inspection report from your last transaction that I can see, or
a
something
sample
like that?
One that I can see what it looks like.
What do you generally run on, homes, the types of homes I'm looking at? Mission Canyon is going to have different inspections than, somewhere down here on State Street versus a home from 1920s versus newer homes in Los Caneros.
So asking these questions will also gauge based on response how familiar someone is in the process and how familiar someone is with these types of inspections, and ultimately, and it comes down to ultimately, do they understand these types of inspections and the results that are coming through? Because you're going to rely on them to then help you, if you're able to, negotiate a credit, or negotiate these repairs be addressed, or, cancel the deal.
Yeah.
It's like, so is that agent someone that you feel has your best interest before their own?
100%.
And that's hard because anyone you ask that question to is going to say, of course, right? I mean, who's going to say no? I come before you do. No one's going to say that. How do you know that? So in the midst of that interview, you got to feel that vibe. You got to feel like that's someone that really does care about you, because
even if that means cancel the deal and they're not getting paid. I mean, when it comes to an agent being a week away from closing a deal, getting a paycheck, but they need to cancel that for you, you need to know that they're not going to
talk you into not canceling.
Yeah.
Or keep you in the deal because it's financially better for them, so they don't have to start over and find you another place. So especially, I'm going to say this right now because I don't know how long we want this to continue, but especially because we can go on forever, if that realtor is not able to negotiate a full commission for themselves.
Yeah.
That's always a red flag for me.
Yeah.
Because if they can't negotiate a full commission for themselves, and I'm just thinking out loud, let's say you can't negotiate 3% because you don't want to pay it or whatever, right? Whatever it is you guys agree to. Because this will cause other buyers to shop agents based on commission, and I'm going to tell you why that's not your best strategy. You always get what you pay for. You learn that the hard way. But most importantly, based on what we're talking about right now, if I only negotiated a flat rate commission of $10,000, and in reality I'm supposed to be getting paid $30,000, and you hit a point in the transaction where you need someone really looking out for you, who's going to say, hey, you know what? These two things are so big, I don't even know if you should buy this house based on these two items, right? Is that person that negotiated a flat rate and did all this work and got you so far and so close to the close going to actually be that honest with you when they really need to just get done with the deal because it's a huge loss for them at $10,000?
Even if the deal could go forward, but you have the opportunity to get $50,000 back, $30,000 back from an inspection report, is that person going to say, hey, it's not that big of a problem, you can address that later? Or is that person going to say, hey, I'm going to negotiate back?
Well, they probably can't negotiate for that for you because they couldn't negotiate for themselves. If they couldn't negotiate
for themselves, they're probably not negotiating for you. So further than interviewing these people, when you then go to talk about commissions with them, sure, pushback from them on your end might might suck, but at least you know that they're going to do that for you, you know?
You get what you pay for. So if you're out there just trying to pick an agent based on commission alone, you're probably going to lose. Something's going to hurt. Something's going to cost you more money in the long run. So again, guys, like we do so much as agents, like for people to like kind of put us in this situation and pretend like we don't do anything and we're just overpaid is just, it's offensive and it's ignorant. And
look in our parking lot. None of us are in Lamborghinis wearing ball gowns, going to all these showings.
That's all TV stuff. So the fact that we're in a situation now where people are literally like devaluing and undermining realtors, like people are going to learn the hard way. And there will always be those people. Just don't be one of them. So like ask good questions. Listen to this type of video. We'll prepare some questions for you to ask, but ultimately don't purely make a decision based off of what someone's charging you to represent you. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that do this, and I feel really bad for those people. Yeah. I really do. So be smart. Listen to other videos like this or other realtors out there. So
ask them these questions.
Yeah. We'll get you those listed questions. So hopefully, I think this video went longer than what we anticipated, but hey, that's pretty standard with us. So again, thanks for checking it out, watching. I'm Abel Ramos and Jackie Potter with Compass. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, guys.